I'm gonna tell you more or less how ugly it is to live in a city like Culiacán. Honestly, the dangers that come and what happened to me, which was something that truly left me traumatized for life.
The conflict in Sinaloa began in June of the year 2024 as a result of the surrender of El Mayo Zambada to the United States authorities by who is said to have been Joaquin Guzman Lopez, son of El Chapo. But this conflict has left more than 500 lifeless on the streets and more than 600 people missing. On average, more than 6 lifeless have been recorded daily in the last 90 days as a result of the clashes between these two rival groups. But the situation did not start in the year 2024 with these confrontations. For several years now, the drug trade has left a long trail of blood behind it.
You know that when you talk to a person, the more a person tells you, if you speak with lies, then you're going to have a bad time.
So today we will talk about the YouTubers and influencers who have been removed for having connections with the drug trade, believing that these alliances would make them untouchable, but they were very wrong. The first on the list was Juan Luis Laguna Rosales, or better known as the Pirate of Culiacán, a teenager who gained fame for his peculiar sense of humor that turned him into a living meme recognized by everyone. But while he made many laugh, this had a worrying cost to his health. The pirate used to appear in their videos drunk and even intoxicated to the point of passing out while they continued filming him.
The Pirate of Culiacán was 17 years old. He became famous on social media 2 years ago for posting videos showing heavy caliber weapons, luxury cars, jewelry, as well as getting drunk and using drugs.
And that wasn't the worst of it. He would sometimes pose with bulletproof vests and weapons in the style of the most famous mobsters. It's important to note that at that time, the boy, because he was a boy, was not of legal age. He was only 17 years old. Suddenly, he realized that he could improve his life full of hardships by playing the character of the drunkard in exchange for recognition, fame, and a lot of money. He then started to go viral all over the country thanks to a video filmed by one of his friends in quotes, in which the young man was hitting his forehead against the ground due to his severe state of drunkenness. His unexpected fame led him to accumulate more than 700,000 followers on Facebook, 37,000 on Twitter, and almost more than 300,000 on Instagram. His most famous phrase was "Así no más quedó," but the disturbing thing was that this same phrase became a premonition of his end. In one of the last viral videos, the comedian attracted the attention of Mencho, leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel, and the pirate did not realize what he was filming while insulting the most wanted narco in Mexico. It all happened on December 18, 2017. At 11 o'clock at night, when the influencer arrived with his group of friends at the Zapopan Bar, a northern music venue located in Jalisco. There he began his ritual of perdition. To call it in some way, he took one drink after another and all kinds of substances while filming a new viral video. The pirate was out of his mind due to the effects of the substances, so he never noticed that some very dangerous people entered the place armed with weapons in their hands and with only one goal in mind: to end this young man who had dared to mock Mencho. Before his fateful end, the pirate was giving a show for which he had been hired along with other YouTubers. At that moment, and without time to react, the thug shot at this boy in that same place where there was laughter before. It was filled with screams of horror. And so the pirate of Culiacán lost his life instantly as a result of about 15 shots against his body, ending his fleeting life of excesses that once made the whole internet laugh. After this event, no one was surprised when his case was filed away, considering that his end was probably due to having insulted one of the most dangerous leaders in Mexico, and no one, not even the authorities, would dare to contradict him. The Pirate of Culiacán wasn't the sole influencer to encounter the wrong crowd. The YouTuber named Compa Jorge was another well-known case in this country.
What a show, my people. I welcome you to my channel. What a show, my people. I welcome you to my channel. What a show, my people. I welcome you to my channel. I am the Compa. I welcome you to a new video.
The Compa had over 62,000 followers on his YouTube channel. There he posted his life of luxuries, exotic vacations, as well as his exotic animals and, of course, his latest model all-terrain vehicles, which had an approximate value of 500,000 pesos each. But not even with all that money in the world could he buy more time to live. Months before the events, Compa Jorge had been deprived of his freedom for allegedly being mistaken for another person who belonged to a gang that was an enemy of his captors.
They hit me with the gun. With the tip of the gun, they hit me. And each time we moved forward, the guy with the butt of the gun he was handling, he would touch my head like this and take off and put on the safety, they told me. It wouldn't cost me anything to kill you here, he told me.
After hours of unbearable suffering, the guy was released after begging these people that if they took his life, at least leave his body in a place where his family could find it. Apparently, this moved his captors and he managed to get out alive, but the YouTuber could no longer escape his end that was closely following him.
Don't leave me in the mountain, don't leave me thrown out there. If you're going to kill me, I only ask you to leave me in a place where my family will find me.
On April 18th of the year, 2022, the young man posted on his Instagram account that he would be going to a bank branch. What he didn't know was that among his more than 30,000 followers, dangerous people were tracking his every move to catch him off guard. 45 minutes after the post, around 1:45 in the afternoon, heavily armed individuals arrived at his doorstep just as the YouTuber was about to enter his home. Compa Jorge received a lead help against his body. Subsequently, the thugs quickly fled the scene. When the authorities arrived at the scene, they could do nothing to save the life of the YouTuber who lost his life at just 35 years old.
Yeah, there was a moment when I thought to myself, they're going to kill me right here. Honestly, that's what I thought, and I said, well, this is it. This is where Jorge ends, I thought to myself.
The clear motives for his attack are still unknown, however. The strongest hypothesis was that Ivan Archibaldo Guzman Salazar, one of El Chapo's sons, put a price on his head. The apparent reason was that Jorge posted a video in which he recounted his encounters with the drug dealer.
He says to me, don't you know who the kid is? I didn't tell him. Honestly, I don't know. Well, here's the character. It turns out it was none other than Mr. Ivan Archibaldo. He told me, that's El Chapo's son, he said.
In the video on his channel, he described the Chapitos leader as a very humble person. While at first he referred to this character as Compa, in his video published in the year 2021, he changed the nickname to El Señor, letting us understand that something happened in between.
He turned nowadays into the Lord of Lords, one could say. Honestly, my respects. I don't think he'll watch this video, but if he does see it, honestly, respects to my buddy. Honestly, I used to call him that before. My buddy, my buddy, my buddy. Well, now he's a gentleman. We're at your service, old man.
It's unknown whether the relationship between the two changed, if there was any dispute, or if the YouTuber disrespected the leader. But what we do know is that anyone, whether they're a rapper, a journalist, or a well-known YouTuber like Compa Jorge was, is living on borrowed time. Yes, he dares to disrespect one of the most powerful men in Mexico. 5 months after the end of Compa Jorge, Mexico is now experiencing the demise of another influencer at the hands of organized crime, or rather, another female influencer.
Carla Pardini, a TikTok star from Culiacán, Sinaloa, gained fame across Mexico. Her absence translates into the pain of her family and loved ones who mourn her death today.
Carla Pardini was an influencer who dedicated herself to talking about fashion, exercise, health, and also showed her notable skills in dance, especially in the reggaeton and pop genre. In addition, she carried out the trends that were in fashion and even some comedic clip. Despite not posting every day, Pardini had managed to get an incredible sum of almost 80,000 followers and more than 200,000 reactions on her 31 videos and a total sum of millions of views. She was not only recognized on TikTok because on Instagram she had more than 10,000 followers. Her fame led her to post more and more content until her followers dubbed her the Queen of TikTok. And although fame had knocked on her door, it came at a very high price because many of her followers left offensive comments of all kinds. because the more well-known she became on the platform, the more her enemies grew. At first, Carla ignored them, but there came a point where she got tired and uploaded a video dedicated to her haters. In the TikTok, she is seen pretending to walk like a model on a fashion runway, along with subtitles that said, "When they tell me I don't like you, I hope to make you dislike me even more." At Neither her followers nor Carla knew that this viral video would be the last, because everything happened on the night of September 23rd of the year 2022, when the Mexican TikToker received a call on her cell phone. It was 10:30 at night when a person who was supposedly part of her close circle of friends asked her to leave her home, which she shared with her family, and meet as soon as possible at the intersection of Catedráticos and Ignacio Lopez streets in the city of Culiacán in Sinaloa. Carla then left her house for the meeting, not knowing that this would be the last time she would see her family. The TikToker arrived at the agreed corner and waited for the person who had summoned her. But what she didn't know was that she would come face to face with a group of armed men who shot her mercilessly. The bystanders who saw the horrific scene from afar rushed to help her in vain, as the TikTok queen had lost her life on that corner at just 22 years old. After that tragic end, many thought about the hypothesis that perhaps Carla could have been involved with dangerous people. However, it was never known who ordered her end. To this day, her relatives and most loyal followers continue to demand justice, considering the precedent of other influencers. We know that, unfortunately, the truth of what happened on that corner will never be known. In 2024, the case of 38-year-old Rafael Lascano Rosales, alias El Peinadito, shocked Mexicans. The young man was known on the internet for spreading videos of his luxury cars and his successful businessman life. On his Instagram account, he posted photos in which he posed next to Ferraris, BMWs, Mercedes-Benz trucks, and Porsches. In some posts, he even appeared with celebrities like Edwin Cass, Luis R., Conriquez, Fidel, and Inés Gómez Mon. However, his luxurious life was of no use when bullets took his life around 12:30 in the afternoon or noon on June 4th of the year 2024. El Peinadito was managing his father's car business called Mega Autos El Peinado, located south of the city of Culiacán, when an Audi car parked in front. Several men got out of the car and entered El Peinadito's offices. Seconds later, witnesses heard an argument and then saw the influencer running out of the establishment onto the street. However, he failed to escape in time. His attackers quickly caught up with him and shot him mercilessly on the sidewalk. When the authorities arrived at the scene, he was still alive. Unfortunately, he lost his life on the way to the hospital. "We have to work, Cleves." Those were his last words to his nearly 300,000 followers on Instagram. In fact, there is a hypothesis that suggests a possible attack against him, which occurred a few days after the murder of the Imperial Lyceum Castro, alias Cheyo Anthrax, which ended a few kilometers from Megautos the hairstyle. Both crimes would have no more connection than the proximity of the executions and the closeness in which the bodies were picked up by the authorities. However, the figure of Chino Anthrax could be another link between both victims. Cheo Anthrax was one of the last leaders of the armed wing of the Sinaloa cartel known as Anthrax, which still operated in Culiacán. Apparently, Peinadito had a presumed friendship with Chino Anthrax. There are no details to confirm this alleged friendship except for 2 images of Peinadito with other celebrities linked to the Sinaloa cartel. In the first one, he is seen with Mario Quintero Lara, vocalist of Los Tucanes de Tijuana, whom Cheo Anthrax was in charge of hiring to bring to Mayo Zambara's parties. In the second one, he is seen with Larry Hernandez, a musician creator of the Narco Corrido Gente, very important person dedicated to Chino Antra. Even though Peinadito was rubbing shoulders with many famous people, fame and contacts, as you can see, were of no use to him when facing his enemies.
Juan Carlos had posted on TikTok about the Sinaloa cartel and the Los Chapitos faction, led by Ivan Archibaldo.
We give the order for the disorder and up with the boss, Joaquin El Chapo, bastards, pure people of Ivano Ibaldo to life.
The violence of the drug trade not only hits the influencers who live surrounded by luxury, but also those who suffer many deprivations and who, out of the desire to have a better life, end up linked to this dangerous world. And this was the case of Juan Carlos El Chilango, a charismatic character who became known on social networks for his particular humor that made his followers on TikTok laugh. The last day of his life was Saturday, October 19, 2024 on Musala Island in Culiacán, Sinaloa. At that moment, the influencer, who was just 30 years old, was selling candies from a stroller to the drivers passing by. What he didn't know was that one of his potential customers was actually someone who would give him the worst possible ending. At almost 8 o'clock in the evening, a group of heavily armed men riding a motorcycle opened fire on the street vendor. The bullet impacts instantly ended his life. The authorities could do nothing when they arrived at the scene.
Yesterday evening, a person who sold sweets in Culiacán, Sinaloa and also created content for TikTok was murdered.
The influencer who roamed the night streets of Sinaloa to earn his daily bread had named one of the most powerful drug lords in one of his videos. At that moment, he thought it would be a good idea. However, his enemies didn't think the same and gave him the worst possible ending.
Feeling?
Good.
Hostile. Send it to all the a greeting.
To all the people who are following my videos there with the antenna. He was able to save my life, just so you know. He's a great friend. He didn't let me die. He didn't let me die on the line, and here we are at your service. We're still alive.
The next influencer's case started with his disappearance. The relatives of Jesus Miguel Vivanco Garcia, 29 years old, alias El Jasper, notified the authorities that he had been abducted inside his home in Quila by a group of armed men.
El Jasper became famous for appearing in videos of his friend, the YouTuber Marquitos Toys. The latter has also been pointed out for having friendships within organized crime there in Sinaloa.
The hours of tension turned into 2 days of uncertainty and disappearance that ended in the worst way when he was finally found lifeless on the morning of November 23rd of the year 2024 in the El Quemadito, Ejido, belonging to the Costa Rica Culiacán syndicate. The Sinaloan YouTuber was found wrapped in a sheet. When they discovered the fabric, they found the victim tied up and blindfolded with green tape. In addition, his body had 70 bullet wounds and signs that he had suffered. The strongest theory of his end was given by netizens who speculated that the influencer was involved with dangerous people in the city who would have ended his life.
And we stay on the violence in Sinaloa because on Saturday they found the body of Miguel Vivanco alias El Jasper, who was being investigated for distributing fentanyl in the United States for the Chapitos.
You realize his case is recent. Not even a month has passed yet, but if we follow the pattern of previous cases, we will probably never know who gave Jasper his end. Since what happened with Jasper, not even a month has passed, but there was a case even fresher than this one.
But here in Culiacán, there was a rumor that they would remove their cameras or disconnect them so that they wouldn't be uploading videos. Although I have never uploaded anything since all the chaos started here in Culiacán. Since it was paralyzed, I have never uploaded videos. I have not shared videos of any of that. I don't like it. Well, the same to not have any problems.
Gordo Perushi, real name Leobardo Asipuro Soto, was a popular 37-year-old content creator known for his humor content, challenges, and jokes that he shared daily through YouTube, where he accumulated just over 160,000 followers and 419 videos. The man was linked to The Toys, a group of influencers led by Marcos Eduardo Castro Cardenas, alias Marquitos Toys, who in turn has been pointed out for his alleged connections with certain criminal groups. In addition, Gordo Perushi gained great notoriety due to his closeness with the also influencer and businessman El Chino Feng. However, most of his followers started to come as a result of the videos in which he shared part of his life, but not even the contacts with influencers related to the mafia helped him to avoid being killed on the night of December 9th in the south of Culiacán.
Many people do pass through this street, as I would say, golden cases, so it doesn't sound bad. So yes, a lot of people pass through here because down there are like 2 or 3 houses that are alone. They are under construction and people go in there, or if not, they turn around. There is also all the vacant lot alone. Well, there is nothing on this side of the curve. Look here, take into account that from that house onwards, there is nothing.
The events happened on Coronel Calixto Peña Street in the 21 de Marzo neighborhood when the fat Perushi was walking with his wife unaware of the danger that was approaching. With no time to react, the couple received a hail of bullets from unknown individuals. Unfortunately, the man did not survive the attack. However, the wife of the popular YouTuber is currently stable in a hospital. It is also not known for certain who put him in the wooden pajamas. However, in his last video shared on YouTube the same morning of the attack, the YouTuber revealed that when he returned from the gym, he noticed that someone had stolen part of the Christmas decoration that he had personally placed in his house, which makes us think that perhaps the same people provoked him before ending him.
As I tell you, it's not easy here in Julian-Campa because if you look once, say, how much will it have? It's been a day, I think, since they started to warn about removing their cameras or disconnecting them. I saw a house that had its cameras shot.
The proximity of these characters to the drug dealer took him to have a fleeting fame. In most of these crimes, the search for a better life was their death sentence. Apparently, in Mexico, there seems to be no future away from organized crime that has nothing good to offer youth other than misery, barbarism, and death.
On the 9th of December, 3 months since the confrontations between the Chapitos and the Mayis began,
the government system is also to blame for these crimes. They are the ones who should protect the citizen. However, they are the same ones who leave the most destitute aside and force them to have no other option but to join the ranks of the drug traffickers and depend on them to achieve a better life. Unfortunately, being just a few days away from the end of the year, the conflict moving on to something else but within the same, the conflict in that state seems to have no end and will continue to see thousands more stories like those of these influencers.
We, the cut of Sinaloa.
There was movement of armed people. The general informs me that there is no such thing, that it's calm.
Thank you.